A couple of years ago, I did a series of Etsy seller success stories interviews where I interviewed people from my eShop Success program and my public Facebook group. And most of these people were on Etsy. They were sellers who felt like they had accomplished a lot on Etsy and had their businesses going pretty well. And there were a lot of really good tips in it, but I know that the technical issues were a little much because we were connecting with different software and different microphones and the whole thing. So I did edit some of them, but I took a whole bunch of the little snippets and put them together in this video so that you can watch it. So I hope this is interesting, and if you're interested in watching the whole playlist and you can sit through a little bit of static or whatever, that's fine. You're going to get a lot out of these videos. I will link the playlist at the end of this video, and I hope you enjoy these.
So if you're just starting an Etsy shop, I would suggest to do the research before, like do the research in what you're thinking about doing, because I didn't do that. And then once I started doing it, it was like, oh, well, there's like, you search for amethyst bath bomb and there's like 50,000 results. How are you going to get found? So do a little bit of research in what you're interested in doing, see if it's feasible for you.
I think it would be really to think about, it's what I was saying earlier, to think about what you're going to sell before you start selling it. Really to have, to research everything, the cost of materials, but also the cost of packaging and how you're going to send it and mail it, how you're going to, it's the thing that you don't really want to think about when you're very excited. You create things and you want to sell them. And then you realize after a few sales that you're not making money, either because you're undercharging or because you hadn't taken into account the cost of shipping and the cost of shipping materials and all this and the time it takes.
I think you need to really research and learn. And there's so much to research. There's so much to an Etsy shop as far as what you work with the SEO, your marketing as far as your logo and your colors, your shipping, your taxes for your state, your tax info, your Pinterest, if you want to put stuff on Pinterest, or your Instagram, your social marketing. Just try to research and learn as much as you can. And I think you should really honestly start out. I started out with like 2 small products and they took off. Start with 2 products and get those honed in with pictures and your description and your shipping and how you want that to go. Then put it on your Facebook or your Instagram, your Pinterest, and then add to that. I see a lot of people go, well, how many items do I need in my shop? Do I need to start with like 100 items or stuff? And I think that can be quite overwhelming if you try to put 100 listings together and 100 different things in a shop at one time.
My advice to somebody just starting out is just do your research. Know what you're getting yourself into, but don't be afraid to get yourself into it. I have never second guessed anything that I've done that's big. I just get excited about something and then I just do it. I just do the research and I go, oh my God, and I can't sleep. And I wake up the next morning and I can't wait to get on it. And I don't try and figure out what could go wrong. I have never, ever, ever thought, but what could go wrong? I've never done that. And so therefore the passion stays and the flow stays. And when you know basically what you're getting yourself into, by researching, it gives you the confidence.
I think that it's really important that it's not just creating your product, but also a lot of other work involved. So that actually creating the product is just a small bit of the whole piece. You have to do photographing, marketing, you need to work on your shop, you have to do your graphics for social media, you have to show up on social media and all these things that take a lot of time. And then there is laws and you have to deal with shipping. Yeah, so there's so many other things to think about. And I think it's important that you are aware of the fact that you have to learn a lot of other skills too, not just to create your product.
Don't compare yourself to everybody else. The problem about it is what happens is, and artists do this, lots of people do this, and they'll start something and then immediately compare themselves. Well, I'm just as good as that. My product's just as good as that. It's like, well, no, there's so many intangibles than just the physical thing. So what happens is, what you want to do is you want to find similar products to what you do. Find out how they're doing it. I do this I rewrote all of my descriptions because I'm like, I did my descriptions one way. I found this other description on Etsy. I'm like, I like that. So I grabbed how they did their format. I grabbed how the people are doing their images. I like how you're doing your images, So what I do is I just kind of find all these products I liked and then mimicked what I did. But I made it different enough that it's not like their product, but I use the information, how they did certain things, because it's about learning from other people but not being following them slavishly.
So it took me a long time to do this. I've been hemming and hawing over it for several years, and I finally read something that kicked my butt, and it said, "Done is better than perfect." I am a terrible perfectionist, and I let that stop me from doing what I want, but not this time. So don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. Get it done. It's good enough, and you can always fix it later.
Patience. Patience, take it slow. Don't expect results right away. If you are overwhelmed, just focus on one thing at a time and expect that it's going to take you months, years to get to the point where you can support yourself on it. I mean, if you get there faster, I'm happy for you, but it is rare that that happens, and you should just plan that it's a long-term project. It's akin to going to college. You got to make that 4-year plan to go to college and take all the classes and go step by step, and you can't rush it. You just got to go every day and do something to move yourself forward and do it one small piece at a time. A long time ago, way back when I first started, there was a online marketing guru, and she had a turn of phrase called salamatization. And the premise is that there's the idea that how do you eat a whale? One bite at a time. Bite's too big for salamatization. Bites can still be too much and too scary. You've got to take that bite and slice it into super, super, super thin slices. Like when you get the salami and you can see through it, it's so thin. That's why it's called salamatization. You take the big project, and you're not even looking at like the small chunk of the big project. You're taking this tiny little slice, this little 5-minute step, and that's all you're going to do. And when you do that little step, you go, yay, I did a thing. And you take that success. And if that's all you do that day, that's fine. You do another slice tomorrow, but you keep doing little tiny thin slices every single day.
It is definitely doable, and it's not hard. It's just there's so many people on Etsy. You're not going to put your crocheted hat on there and be noticed in the first 2 days. You might get some views in the first couple weeks. I mean, and it'll come. It sounds like, I don't want to make it sound like it's not doable. It is doable. It just takes time and patience.
I would say don't sell yourself short, and put a value on what you do and how long it takes you to do it. And Kara, you talk about this when you talk about pricing. I would say initially I was not doing that. And that's why for that first few months, I sold a lot of quilts around Christmas time to people in surrounding areas because my prices were low. I was selling a lap quilt for like $100, thinking, oh, that's all anybody will pay. So that's the price I'm going to put on it. And then of course, my prices went up because my skills went up and I was making way fancier things. And now that local sales are very, very slow. And that's not a complaint. That's just a reality, because obviously when someone's going to spend a lot of money on a home decor item, which is what it usually is, or a baby gift, they're not going on there once a week and buying stuff. It's not a consumable that they got to keep replacing. And it's like any art, you can look at it and go, oh, that's a beautiful quilt, but I don't need it. It doesn't match my house. It's not my taste, whatever, right? And so it's got to be the right person with the right quilt who has the money they're willing to spend. And I get that. Yeah, don't sell yourself short.
I would tell them to know who they're selling to and to make what that person wants and not what you want to make. Who are you selling to and what do they want? Because everything else doesn't matter. The last thing I would say is not only find out what they want, but what they're willing to pay for it. And are you willing to do the work that's involved at that price?
I would suggest to join some good groups like Facebook groups, support groups, to help you navigate if you're new, because that was very helpful.
Well, the prevailing theme, I would tell them to study as much as you can. Don't go crazy, and you've given this advice, don't buy programs you can't afford. Look for someone who's teaching and giving free advice, maybe on YouTube. That's where I always start. And if you like them and their philosophy matches with you and you feel comfortable with it. I'm more low key like you are, so I like your approach. Some people are very cheerleader like, and I can't do that. So I decided that wasn't for me. So find someone you're comfortable with their style, and then look for a program that's from someone who's actually doing it. That's always the advice I say. Again, not someone who's teaching, but someone who has done it and has been through it, because that makes a big difference on what you learn.
100% to sign up for it, and I'm not to take the course, because I feel like for the first probably 7 years of my shop, I was hanging out in the forums a lot. I was just sort of trying to find my way. I'd have a sale here and there, and it was nothing. I wasn't really serious about it. If you're serious about it and you really want to be successful, you can shortcut a lot of the headache and a lot of the heartache of the trial and error baloney that you've got to go through if you just take the course and learn the strategies that work and implement those strategies, because it will be night and day difference for your shop. I mean, I wish I could go back in time a little bit. I mean, I have certainly learned a lot, but I did it the hard way. You know, I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a course I took. I didn't get serious about that till even recently, Kara. I feel like I signed up for the course last year. So I haven't been, yes, I've been on Etsy a long time, but I'm in a new place where I know I can improve, and it's so competitive that I had to take that next step to separate myself from the pack.
Absolutely worth it, because it's the place where I started. And even though it's not my main platform, it teaches you how to run a business, and you can use that in other ventures if you want to. But it's a really, really great place to start. And, you know, it doesn't cost millions to open your shop. You know, as I said, I opened my shop during a boring night. And, you know, it's quite fantastic in some way that you can do that. And you can try business models or products or anything like that without having so much cost surrounding the platform itself, because it can be quite pricey to create a, you know, super polished website and stuff like that, and much work and so. So I think it's great.
When I accomplish something, then I feel really good, and then I want to do more, and just do it for yourself. Prove it to yourself. You don't have to prove it to anybody else. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Just do it for you. Just impress yourself. Like and if I look back at where I was when I first had my little market stall, it was just mind-blowing where I am now.
So if you thought those were interesting, go watch this video next, and I will talk to you later.